Art of games. Tekken, God of War, Street Fighter, Jump Force, Crash, Pac-Man are all in fact video games. Games that you see children play often, even adults. People spend lots of money on new game consoles, upgrades, and online access every year. Video games is one of the most denominated areas in technology, and yet some people consider them a waste of time or no good. Parents complaining that all my child does is play the game. Although video games can be considered addictive, we can really come to the conclusion that it is a bad addiction. Video games have many positives, whether it be in regards to your mind, physical, aging, socializing, etc. Many people have negative aspects without really considering what it is that might draw others to gaming. Video games have been said to slow down aging and keep your brain from getting dull. According to game design, performing any task that requires exercising your mind will help it stay sharper, and that includes video games. Game Designs 2018. There are also games specifically made for exercising the brain. A lot of games are targeted to help you get better at repeated tasks and help with your memory. Video games provide mental stimulation, something that doctors highly recommend, especially for older adults and the elders. Vincent 28. When you keep your mind active, you increase its ability to function and get it the necessary work that it needs. Gaming can activate plenty of parts of your brain, especially in the area of decision making. While playing a lot of games, a majority of the objective is deciding what moves to make, where to go, and what is the best solution. And this can reflect in the real world. Action video games are fast-paced, and there are peripheral images and events popping up and disappearing. These video games are teaching people to become better at taking sensory data in and translating it into correct decisions. Game Design 2018. Video games directly affects the brain in regards to memory, spatial orientation, information, organizations, and fine motor skills. Video games can also make you less antisocial. According to game design, gamers who partake in live social environments are actually the most communicative and friendly people there. Game Designs 2018. Gamers actually communicate on various levels while playing online games, whether through video or audio. You can chat with a diversity of people and add multiple gamers to your friend list. People who play video games meet up at events and socialize, usually discussing new release dates, battles, and even topics outside of gaming. At the UbiCon, they have a room strictly for gamers to socialize and talk about anime. Gamers aren't the antisocial basement dwellers we see in pop culture stereotypes. They're highly social people, said one of the researchers who went to more than 20 events where gamers get together. Game Design 2018. Socializing has been very underestimated in the gaming world, and the gamers tend to be more open with people than people who don't play video games. Eyesight benefit from gaming as well. Based on a study done at the University of Rochester, video games can improve vision by making gamers more responsive to different shades of colors. Gamers who play action games like first-person shooters were deemed to have better perception of color contrast. Vincent 2018. Video games also help with hand-eye coordination. So much happens while playing video games. You have to learn how to use the controls while correctly visioning where your hand has to be. As the time goes on, you become more familiar with the system and its controls. You are able to not only remember the buttons you can also hit, but you can also hit them more precisely without truly focusing, according to game design. There are many professions that require having better hand-eye coordination than the average person. Of course, surgeons depend on theirs to not only perform a successful operation, but also make sure they nick an artery or vital organ. Game Design 2018. Consoles like the Wii promote gamers to stay active, including games like boxing, bowling, skiing, etc., where you actually have to act out the actions of those games. They also have virtual reality games where you have to move physically in order to play the game. Any physical activity is healthy for the body and burns calories. There has been talk of future games where you actually have to suit up and play the game as if you were in it, and the system will be able to calculate your moves. This is just talk for now, but who knows what the future holds. Gaming has come so far from the arcade games in Nintendo 64. Growing up, I found myself very lonely and bored with not much to do. I had a very loving family, but at the time, attention wasn't at a surplus. When I was old enough to be alone, I would have nothing to do at home until my mother bought me a video game. Video games can help with loneliness, in my opinion, and can keep you occupied from negative thoughts and feelings. I have many friends who also use video games as an outlet and escape from reality, a way to clock out. The world isn't always so good, and being able to join multiple worlds while on the system is great. In my opinion, people judge gaming because they don't fully understand its true benefits and like to rule it as a distraction of how much attention it receives. I work, I go to school, party, and have a relationship, and it distracts me from none of these things. I have met friends that I have today through gaming, and I continue with my gaming behaviors. Video games should not be viewed in a negative light, but be accepted by all as an activity that can benefit people. Video games have so many positives, and so many of the positives still remain unknown. I believe one day gaming will be recommended as a therapeutic intervention in the mental health and social work fields.